Hi, my name is James Fluke, and this is my event data collection assignment. The event that I attended was the 30th annual Tartan Golf Tournament. This is one of the biggest golf tournaments in the Orlando area and is held at Interlochen Country Club located in Winter Park, Florida. I am currently an employee at this golf club, so I was granted special access to the tournament, which allowed me to easily find 10 people to take my survey. This tournament was a two-day event held on March 20th and March 21st, in which I attended both days in order to get the full experience. After analyzing the data that I collected by means of my survey, I was able to get both in-depth and general information from the fans in attendance. The first question on my survey was, how would you rate your overall experience at the Tartan Golf Tournament? From talking to the fans at the tournament, I was receiving positive feedback about the tournament, which was supported by the fact that all but one person gave a 10 rating on my scale, with the one person giving it a 9. This is hard evidence that the overall fan experience at the Tartan Golf Tournament was outstanding. The next question I asked was, how did you hear about the Tartan Golf Tournament? The responses to this question varied the most out of any other question on my survey. Most people heard about their tournament through word of mouth or other golfers in the area, in which 5 people selected this response. 2 people heard about this tournament through the internet, and another 2 people heard about it through local advertisement. However, there was one person that selected other as their method of hearing about this tournament. These responses tell me that there are many different methods in order to spread the word about future tournaments. The next question I asked was, what time did you arrive for the golf tournament? Due to the fact that the tournament started at 9 a.m., the majority of fans said that they arrived at this time. However, there were 2 outliers, one arriving early at 8 a.m. to get a good spot, and one arrived later in the day at 12 to catch the end of the tournament. The next question I asked was, what did you enjoy most about this year's tournament? There were a couple of varied responses, but the majority of people talked about the excellent condition of the course as well as above average food and beverage services. I feel that these responses are vital because they give a more in-depth look into the fans' overall experience rather than simply just rating the scale. I followed up this question by asking, who did you attend this tournament with? The responses were split between friends and family. However, a couple people responded that they attended with work-related peers such as co-workers or clients. These responses are important going forward because it shows that this tournament is mainly a family and friend-oriented. Once I found out who they were, I asked how many tournaments have they attended this year. Surprisingly, the majority of fans said that this was their first tournament of the year, while 2 people said that they attended 2 to 3, and one avid golf fan responded with 6 or more. I then asked, how would you rate the overall condition of the course? I alluded to it earlier, but fans were very impressed with the condition of the course, so it came as no surprise that it received a perfect score, a 5 out of 5 across the board. After this, I asked the fans if they recognized any sponsors at the tournament. If so, which ones would you be most likely to purchase products from? Due to the nature of golf, there is always an abundance of sponsors at golf tournaments, so it is nearly impossible to miss them, which aligned with the responses that I got from the fans. The question was designed for the fans to acknowledge the sponsors and then give further insight into what specific sponsors they were most interested in. The big-name golf sponsors such as Titleist, Callaway, and Nike were the most common responses. However, one fan stated that he would most likely purchase products from Puma due to their extensive golf clothing line. Sponsors are a big part of any event, especially a golf tournament, so it is vital that I receive sponsorship feedback from the fans. The next part of my survey consisted of a couple demographic questions in which I took the feedback that I was given on my original survey and put these questions together towards the end. The first demographic question was gender-related, in which 8 males took the survey and 2 females. Just from walking around during the tournament, it was evident that there were way more males in attendance than females. The next demographic question asked the fans to select their age group. The responses indicated that the majority of people in attendance were older adults, primarily in the 25 to 54 and 55 plus age groups. However, I did get one response that it indicated a fan in attendance belonged in the 15 to 24 age group. These demographics are pretty consistent with the average golf demographic, which is adult males, but it is always important to ask these questions in order to determine who is attending. I chose to end my survey with an open-ended question that reads as follows. What suggestions do you have, if any, to improve your experience at the Tartan Golf Tournament? The majority of fans were seemingly polite when responding to this question and didn't provide much feedback except on how much they enjoyed it. However, I did get two suggestions. The first one was that the start time of the tournament could have been pushed back a couple hours because the early start time made it hard for some to attend. The other suggestion was that there could be other activities to participate in besides simply watching the tournament. Both of these responses seem like great improvements for the tournament, which is why asking open-ended questions like this at the end of a survey is very important. I really enjoyed the overall process of both creating the survey and collecting data. The data collection was much easier than I expected, as people were more than willing to take the survey I made. Furthermore, not one person I asked said no to taking my survey. When creating the survey, I had no problem coming up with the questions, but it was challenging to get the survey to flow smoothly because the questions needed to be arranged properly. The majority of my questions were straightforward, so there was little to no confusion. The only question that people had to stop and think for a second was when I asked, "What suggestions do you have to improve your experience at the golf tournament?" However, I feel that this is a good thing because they were given well thought out, meaningful feedback. Like I briefly mentioned above, I had no problem collecting the data, especially considering I had special access for the tournament, which may have contributed to everyone's willingness to take my survey. If I had to do it again, I would include more open-ended questions in my survey, which allows for in-depth feedback, as I found this information to be most important while analyzing the data. Overall, I learned many new tips and tactics that I can use when creating surveys and collecting data, and I intend to use them in the future. Thank you.